Alright, today we're going to be working on a 2018 Ford F150 XLT EcoBoost. We're going to be doing the thermostat housing amongst other things. But yeah, just to show you really quickly where the coolant drain is, if I can even get it. Right in there. Yeah, right there. Now if you can squeeze the tube onto there to make a little less of a mess, well, congratulations. You're awesome. But I'm gonna go ahead and just loosen it and drain the coolant. Alright, so the guide is saying to remove the intake, but of course I do have that currently off. It is pretty simple, just a couple vacuum hose, a couple plugs here. Auto body plug. Some vacuum lines, and yeah, it's not too bad. And then just a couple bolts. I think these were 8mm. I think there's 8 of them. But yeah, once you get that off, you just gotta take off these bolts on the degas bottle. I'll be doing that next, and of course I'm going to be taking these hose off for the coolant. Alright, next you got that hose down there. It's held on by that clip. Should be able to just lift it up and pull off. Not too bad. Alright, next we gotta take this hose off and this one down here. Now I am doing a different job. I gotta remove the cams on the driver's side, so I do have to remove the timing cover. So I did take out the air tubes going to the turbos and everything like that. So if that's in the way, you'll have to remove them. It is kind of a tight fit, especially on mine. I had to go through there with a ratchet, and I believe it was an 8mm, and get those off. Kind of a pain, but I think you might have access to this without removing those, so just a heads up that you might have to look into moving them out of the way at least. Alright, next you're going to get this oval shaped hose off. So the best way to do it is get both clamps off to the side, and once you do, you just wiggle and pull it kind of like sideways and towards the front of the truck. That was the best way I could do it. It was a bit of a pain, but next gotta get that one right there, and that should be the last hose that you gotta get off, and you'll be able to unbolt it. Okay, I got that bottom one off. Essentially I went in through here with a long needle nose and got the clamp down, and then just of course wiggle it off. It is a bit of a pain, but you'll get it. Alright, here's a diagram. You got 5 bolts there, most likely 10mm, but I thought it'd be easier to show you the diagram instead of trying to get the camera inside of there. Alright, so this middle one here is going to be looking like that. Now this was taken to a different shop, and I don't know if they changed it, but it was a 10mm head instead of an 8mm like the other one. So I essentially just used that right there, a small extension with a deep weld, and just went right underneath there and was able to get it out. Alright, so this vehicle was at a different shop, so I don't know if the bolts were misplaced or if it was just like this, but this top one here was 8mm, middle one was a 10mm, bottom right 8, and then bottom left 8mm, and then this top one a 10mm. Now they are different sizes, and if you're like me, I like to mark it just so that I don't mix anything up. So you can do that. And then this other shop, or whoever she took it to, just didn't want to replace anything, so they caked everything with gasket maker. So unfortunately for me, we'll have to be doing some cleaning, but you can kind of see right here, they just caked everything in gasket maker. So make sure the surface is clean and just get new gaskets. Alright, so putting it back together is going to be the reverse of taking it apart, of course. If you need to refer back to anything, just rewind, and hopefully this video helped out at least a little bit. I know I was a little bit further than most people are going to be, but I think that you should be able to take everything off, or at least the guide was showing that you don't have to move any of those air ducts or whatever they're called. So you should be able to get to it once you take the intake off and everything else that I showed. But yeah, hopefully this did help out in some way. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.